So as you guys saw in the title and thumbnail, England are going to win the 2026 World Cup. And I'm going to be breaking down exactly why I think so. Before I get started, at the time of editing this video, it is the 14th of May 2026, which means there is exactly 1 month to go for the World Cup to begin. Without any further ado, let's get started. To begin with, England are no strangers to performing at the highest level in major tournaments. They reached consecutive Euro finals in 2021 and 2024. Now, I know that this England team seem cursed because reaching consecutive Euro finals is definitely not luck. If anything, it all came down to the nerves and the finer details that unfortunately didn't go their way both times. As I look through pundits and fans predicting the winner of the World Cup, it baffles me how most of them very conveniently discard England. Let me give you a tiny bit of insight here. Excluding the European nations, Argentina are the only other major threat to the World Cup trophy. Even Brazil have been shaky in recent years, and which version of Brazil under Ancelotti turn up at the World Cup is yet to be seen. Even for Argentina, though they are still one of the most dangerous sides this edition, we need to understand that they do not possess the same surprise element that they possessed in 2022. Moreover, modern football being incredibly unforgiving rarely ever repeats a winner in the World Cup. So with nearly all the top contenders for the World Cup coming from Europe, you cannot disregard the fact that England made back-to-back finals in what is probably the second most competitive international tournament in football after the World Cup itself. What I'm trying to insinuate here is that the English core of the current edition have a truckload of experience in their backpack. Now, this is probably the biggest tweak in the English side in this edition of the World Cup. Why Gareth Southgate's England team never won anything, despite having one of the most stacked teams on paper and reaching 2 finals, is a conversation for another video. But in 2026, they are managed by Thomas Tuchel, who is a knockout specialist to say the least. I mean, think about it. What makes an absolutely dominant team actually win the trophies that matter? It is handling your nerves when things go down south. I can give a plethora of examples of this across all competitions. Barcelona have been as good, if not a better team than Real Madrid in the last 10 years on talent and system alone. But we all know Real Madrid have been the vastly more successful team, especially in the Champions League, solely due to one reason. They handle nerves better in the knockouts and thrive better in chaos when systems fail. That's exactly the kind of resume that Tuchel brings into England. It doesn't matter how talented a team is on paper if they can't hold their nerves and thrive in chaos in the knockouts when the system fails. Thomas Tuchel took an absolutely struggling Chelsea side and won them the Champions League out of nowhere. Not only this, but previously, he also took an absolutely ego-filled PSG side to a Champions League final in 2020. Unlike previous years where England felt rigid, Tuchel is known for mid-game adjustments. If England is struggling to break down a low block, like they did in past tournaments, Tuchel's history suggests he will find the tactical key. England's biggest strength is that their B team could likely reach a quarter-final. Having world-class talent like Bukayo Saka, Jude Bellingham or Phil Foden is one thing, but having the ability to bring game changers off the bench in the 75th minute is what wins World Cups. The squad features players who can play multiple roles, allowing Tuchel to pivot styles without making substitutions, keeping opponents constantly off balance. England's depth is so profound that their projected second 11 features Champions League winners and established Premier League stars. This creates a no-drop-off environment. If a superstar like Bukayo Saka is neutralized, Tuchel can introduce someone like Cole Palmer or Jarrod Bowen. Players with completely different profiles who force an opponent to rewrite their defensive plan mid-game. England's greatest embarrassment of riches remains at fullback. Tuchel has a menu of choices. He can use Reece James for physical dominance and crossing, Trent Alexander-Arnold for quarterback-like vision from deep, or Tino Livramento for raw recovery pace. The Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham duo is the foundation, but the depth behind them ensures they won't burn out. Players like Elliot Anderson and Kobbie Mainoo have provided a bridge between defense and attack. If England is leading by a goal in the 80th minute, Tuchel has specialists like James Garner or Adam Wharton. High IQ technical players who can kill a game by simply keeping the ball and frustrating the opposition. Success in qualifying isn't just about the points, it's about the statement. A perfect record sends a message of dominance to the rest of the world. It suggests a team that has found a consistent rhythm, a settled starting 11 and a level of efficiency where they put away smaller nations without breaking a sweat, preserving energy for the big stage. Across the entire qualifying campaign, England played 8 matches and conceded 0 goals. Not a single lapse in concentration, not a single lucky strike from an underdog, and not a single defensive error. They are only the second European team in history to complete a World Cup qualifying run without conceding a goal, joining Yugoslavia's 1954 side, but England did it over twice as many games. While England's depth is terrifying, their peak is defined by one man. In 2026, Harry Kane isn't just a captain. He is a force of nature, arriving in North America at the absolute zenith of his powers. Kane's move to Germany has transformed him into a statistical titan. In the 2025-26 season, he has been nothing short of sparkling, netting 55 goals across all competitions for Bayern Munich. He didn't just adapt to the Bundesliga, he conquered it, breaking scoring records while evolving into a deep-lying playmaker that makes everyone around him better. For the first time in his career, Kane enters a major tournament as the oddsmakers' favourite for the Ballon d'Or. With a golden shoe already secured and a season of consistent big-game performances in the Champions League, the World Cup is the final piece of the puzzle. The narrative is clear. A World Cup trophy doesn't just make him an England legend, it cements him as the best player on the planet. At 32 years old, this is Kane's last dance in his physical prime. While his football IQ will keep him elite for years, 2026 represents the perfect intersection of veteran experience and peak athletic output. He knows the clock is ticking on his window to bring football home. So to conclude, England have run upgrades on their squad for this edition of the World Cup, be it the hiring of Thomas Tuchel as manager, their squad depth, or the mental resilience they built by being so close yet so far in the Euros, or even Harry Kane being in prime form just in time for the World Cup. Maybe they finally can keep their nerves in the intense knockout stage games this time, and instead of faltering, go all the way to lift the trophy. Guys, I want to know what you think. Do England have it in them to win the World Cup this time? Write your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you're watching this video after July 19th, 2026, when the World Cup is over, comment who the winner is and tell me whether England did indeed win it or not. Guys, I have an entire playlist covering all the underdogs of the 2026 World Cup. Please check it out, and if you like my videos, please hit the subscribe button. It motivates me to continue.